If the hardest part of your day arrives right as the sun goes down, you are not imagining it and you are not doing anything wrong. There is a name for it, and there is a real reason for it. Maybe you know the pattern already. All day, things are more or less okay. Then late afternoon comes. The light starts to fade and something shifts. The person you love gets restless, anxious. They start pacing or asking to leave or insisting they need to get home, even though they are home. They get confused or suspicious or tearful or angry in a way they simply were not that morning. And it happens almost like clockwork. I'm Dr. Crystal Agner, a licensed clinical psychologist, and this is why they do that. Today we're talking about sundowning, why so many people with dementia become more confused and agitated in the late afternoon and evening, what is actually happening inside their brain and body when it does, and the practical things you can do to make those evenings calmer for them and for you. So let's start by naming it. This late day change has a name. It's called sundowning. And once you know what it is, you'll recognize it immediately. Sundowning is not a disease of its own. It's a pattern, a cluster of behaviors that show up or get worse as the day winds down. It can look like restlessness and pacing, anxiety or fear, irritability or suspicion or agitation, wanting to leave, wanting to go home, wanting to find someone, more confusion than usual, sometimes tears, sometimes anger. And then, often, by the next morning, the storm has passed and the person is calmer again. It is incredibly common. In Alzheimer's and other dementias, a large share of families deal with some version of this. So if the evenings in your home have quietly become the hardest hours, please know you are in very good company, and there is nothing unusual about what you are seeing. Now let's talk about why it happens, because this is the part that changes everything. When you understand what is driving it, you stop taking it personally, and you start being able to help. The first and biggest reason is the body clock. Deep in the brain, there is a tiny cluster of cells that acts as our internal clock. It's what tells us, without thinking, that morning is for waking and evening is for winding down. Dementia damages that clock. So the signals that are supposed to say, the day is ending, it's safe to rest now, get scrambled. The person's sense of time comes loose, and as the outside light fades, their internal cues don't line up with it anymore. The second reason is exhaustion, and this one matters so much. Think about how hard the brain of a person with dementia is working all day long just to keep up, to follow conversations, to make sense of a world that keeps slipping, to hold themselves together. That takes an enormous amount of effort, and like any of us running on empty, by late afternoon, that reserve is simply spent. A tired brain has fewer resources left to manage confusion and to steady big emotions. So everything that was hard at noon becomes so much harder at 5. The third reason is the light itself. As daylight fades, rooms get dimmer and shadows grow. For a brain already struggling to interpret the world, low light and shadow are genuinely frightening. A coat on a chair becomes a stranger. A dark hallway becomes a threat. The failing light doesn't just signal the end of the day. It actively makes the world harder to read and scarier. And then there are simple, human, unmet needs. By the end of the day, a person may be hungry or thirsty or in pain or need the bathroom or just plain bored and understimulated and not able to tell you any of it in words. So it comes out sideways as agitation. The whole busy day, all its noise and activity can pile up too, until an overloaded mind finally spills over. And here's a tender one. By evening, we are tired too. We're rushing to make dinner, we're depleted, and people with dementia are exquisitely sensitive to our mood. Our end-of-day stress becomes theirs. So please hear this. None of it is on purpose. Your loved one is not acting out to upset you or to ruin your evening. Their internal clock is broken, their tank is empty, and the light is failing. That's it. And once you truly believe that, you can stop fighting the behavior and start meeting the need underneath it. So let's get practical. Here is what actually helps. Small, doable changes that can turn the hardest hours of the day into something gentler. Number 1, win the war on light. Because a lot of sundowning is about the fading day, you fight it with light. During the day, especially in the morning, get as much bright light as you can. Open the curtains, sit by a sunny window, get outside if you're able. Bright days help reset that broken body clock. Then, as evening approaches, turn the lights on early, before dusk starts to creep in, and keep the rooms warmly and evenly lit. Close the curtains so the dark outside disappears, and hunt down the shadows, the ones in corners and hallways, because those are where the fear lives. Number 2, protect the routine. Predictability is deeply calming to a brain that can't predict much anymore. Try to keep waking, meals, activity, and bedtime at about the same times each day. And here's a key move. Put the demanding things, the doctor's appointments, the bath, the outings, in the morning when the tank is full. Keep the late afternoon and evening calm, quiet, and low key. Don't schedule the hard stuff for the hardest hours. Number 3, guard their rest and their energy. Naps are tricky. A long nap late in the day can wreck the coming night, but being completely overtired feeds sundowning too. So aim for a short, early afternoon rest rather than a long, late one. And go easy on caffeine and sugar later in the day. That afternoon coffee or sweet treat can quietly pour fuel on the evening fire. Number 4, and this is the one people miss most. Before you try to calm the behavior, check for the need underneath it. Run a quiet checklist. Are they hungry? Thirsty? Do they need the bathroom? Are they in pain? Too hot? Too cold? Bored with nothing for their hands to do? So often, what looks like agitation is really just a need they can no longer name. And a small snack, a trip to the bathroom, a warm drink, or something gentle to do can melt the whole thing away. Number 5, as evening comes, make the world softer. Turn down the noise. Switch off the loud television news, which can be frightening and overstimulating. Reduce the clutter and the commotion. Put on some quiet, familiar music. Offer a calm, repetitive activity that feels good in the hands. Folding towels, sorting photos, a simple puzzle. You're trying to make the evening feel like a safe, quiet harbor. And number 6, when they are already upset, mind your words. This is the part I care about most. Don't argue, don't correct, don't quiz. If they say, I have to go home, or I need to pick up the children, do not say, you are home, or the children are grown. That just tells a frightened person that they are wrong, and it makes the fear worse. Instead, meet the feeling. Keep your voice low and warm, and say something like, you're safe, I'm right here with you. We'll take care of it together. Let's have a cup of tea first. You acknowledge the emotion, you offer calm presence, and then you gently guide them towards something soothing. You go with the feeling, not against it. Quick note before we keep going. If you'd like the exact calming things to say in these hard evening moments, word for word, I put a set of them together for you. The free What to Say sampler is a lovely place to start, and the full What Not to Say guide goes deeper on communication. Both links are in the description right below this video. Okay, back to it. Now, I want to add something because it's not only about the lights and the schedule. So much of what calms an evening is you. Your calm is contagious. When you slow down, lower your voice, soften your face, and unhurry your whole body, a person with dementia feels it and begins to settle, even if they can't follow a single word you're saying. And the reverse is just as true. If you're rushed and tense and radiating stress, they will catch that too and mirror it right back. So sometimes the most powerful thing you can do in that hard hour is simply to slow yourself down first. Your steadiness becomes their steadiness. And let me say something directly to you, the caregiver, because the evening shift is brutal, and you are running low right when it hits. It is completely okay that this is hard. The end of the day is when your own reserves are most depleted, just as theirs are, and you are being asked to be the calm one anyway. That is a lot. So plan for it. If there is any way to get a little help or a break in the evenings, take it. Keep your own dinner simple. Lower the bar for what a good evening has to look like. And when a rough night happens anyway, and it will, please don't add guilt on top of exhaustion. You are not failing. This is genuinely one of the hardest parts of the whole disease. And the fact that you keep showing up for it,